Okay, so we're going to take a look at a question I get asked a lot, and that's power chords. What is a power chord? What's the difference between a power chord and a bar chord? So let's just jump right into it. So a power chord now is just a root, a fifth, and the octave. It could also be just a root and a fifth. Metallica does that all the time. So that's just two-string power chord there. So we're going to look at an A chord, and so I'm putting my first finger here on fret 5, string 6, and then on strings 5 and 4, I'm fretting fret 7. Now I'm using my little finger to hold those two strings down, but you can use your third finger, or you can put your third finger on string 5 and your pinky on string 4. So that's also, so any of those ways work. So here's your A power chord. Now the difference between a power chord and a bar chord, here's a bar chord. See, and I got my major third in here, so string 3 is your major third. So that makes it a bar chord. There's a couple other reasoning behind it, but that's basically it. Okay, so there's your power chord. All right, so now to create power chords off of the 6th string with your root note on your 6th string, you've got to know your notes. And it's really easy. There's no flats or sharps between E or F, and there's no flats or sharps between B and C. So you got E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, no sharps between B and F, and no sharps between B and C. Okay, so once you know that, then you can just formulate. Now the first chord, it has an open string, so I just hold down strings 5 and 4 at the 2nd fret like this. So your E power chord, you hear that all the time. It's common. Okay, so then F. So I'm formulated just the way I did the A chord up here. I got my first finger on fret 1 on string 6, and then I'm holding down strings 5 and 4 at the 3rd fret. Okay, so we got E, F, slide up 2 frets, G, 2 frets, A, 2 more frets for B, 1 fret for C. Remember, no flats or sharps between B and C, D, and E. Okay, so now you have flats and sharps between each of those notes. Like, for instance, between F and G, you have F sharp or G flat. And F sharp is a lot of fun because you could do stuff like... You know, stuff like that. So it's really cool. Also, Crazy Train. Okay, so F sharp, a lot of fun. Okay, so there is how you work power chords off of your with your root note on your 6th string. Now let's look at string 5. Okay, so string 5, once again, know your notes. It's A, B, no flats or sharps between B and C, though there's B right here, 2nd fret. 5th string, and C is your 3rd fret on string 5. I think if I said string 6, I apologize. We're working off of string 5. So string 5, A, B, C, no flats or sharps between B or C. D, E, no flats or sharp between your E or F, so it's just half step. And then G, and then A. Okay, so we're going to hold this power chord with the open string the same way we did E. So we got strings 5, 4, and 3, and I'm fretting the 2nd fret on strings 4 and 3. So watch. There's your A, because that's your root note. B, those are the root note. C, D, E, F, G, A. So you just walk it up. So if you need to find a chord, and you can't, let's say you just can't go right to an E, you're not sure where it's at, so you just go A, B, C, D, E. Okay, boom. Now you know F is here. See, so stuff like that. Okay, so there's the most common used bar chords off of string 6 and 5. So now let's look at string 4. 4 is a D note. And so here's your 5th tone. So it's like playing a D chord, but you're just going to use 3 strings of the D chord. So there's your D, here's your 5th tone, and here's your next D. Okay? All right, so now, same thing. You walk that up. There's D, and then E, And what I'm doing for E, I'm putting my first finger on the E note there, string 4, fret 2. And then I got my third finger on string 3, fret 4. And then I got my little string on string 2, fret 5. And so that type of power chord there. So there's your E, okay, and F, G, A, B, C, D. So as you see, once again, just root, fifth, and octave. Same thing with G string, you could do it on G. Once again, the D and the G string, people don't use it much, but they do. They do. Rat would use this A one here. Okay, so a lot of people, you know, it's great to know this stuff. You may want to use that chord, you may not, but just to have the option is the best part. You use what chord you want for writing songs or whatever your deal is for you using power chords. Okay, so here's G. Okay, once again, root, and the finger configuration changes again. It's root, and on the third string you got your fifth tone, and then your octave. So there's your power chord. Okay, now if you wanted to, here's A. You'll walk it up just like we did the other ones. A, there's your A note, string 3. There's your B note, string 3. Now you have a 3 fret spread here, so be mindful of that, where here you have a 2 fret spread. Okay, so here's your A. Oh, sorry, B. A was here. Here's your, see, it's a 3 fret spread, A, 2 fret spread. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if, once again, if you're wanting to use those power chords in a higher sense like that, then boom, there it is. Okay, that's power chords explained, how to use power chords everywhere. Now let's look at the alternatives. And when I say alternatives, ways to use power chords that aren't just the root, fifth tone and octave. Like I think I mentioned earlier, Metallica uses 2 strings. So there's your E5 or power chord. They're just using E and the fifth tone. And then so when they do this, sorry. Okay, they're 2 strings. Okay, those are power chords. So you can do that anywhere. A, B, C, wherever you're at. The D one, 2 strings, D in the fifth tone, you know, E, so on. So you could do that, just 2 string chords. Now here's some pretty cool chords. Here's what I learned, a power chord that I learned practicing to rush as a young man, and it's this one. Okay, and what you have root, fifth, root, fifth, root, root. Okay, and so how that chord is formulated, I'm kind of doing the same thing when I did that power chord like this, but I'm adding to it. So we got the open E, fifth tone, as I'm holding down 2 strings with my first finger. I'm holding down strings number 4 and 5. So you got your root, fifth tone, and E, and then I'm holding down another fifth tone with string 3 on finger 3 on string 3, fret 4, and then my pinky is on string 2, fret 5. So there's 5 strings, but now if you've got to get a good attack angle in there, so the first string is open, you get this out, all 6 strings. Okay, so you could do 5 string, or you can do 6. All right, so great power chord. Now, once again, you can walk this one up. Now, what a lot of people will do on this one, on this particular one, this chord's used a lot in the way where it's kind of like what they call an inversion. The root note is not, the lowest note is not a root note. So the lowest note here is a B, and so it's an E power chord, but it goes B, E, B, E. Really cool sounding chord. And you just walk that up, F. So what I'm doing, to start you off, same kind of thing, but I'm just not using the open string now. I'm just playing the middle 4 strings. So there's your E, there's your F, G, A. That chord's used a lot. A lot of people use that chord. Rush, I learned it from Rush. the Edge from U2 uses that. Okay, so there's a cool E power chord. Now let's look at A. A is kind of cool. I like doing this one. And it's 5 strings. You got your A chord, which you're holding with your first finger here. You're holding down strings 3 and 4 at the 2nd fret. But then I'm also holding down strings 1 and 2 there with my pinky. Okay, so that's root, 5th, root, 5th, root. Okay, so really, really cool power chord. And then once again, if you eliminate the open string, you can walk that one right up as well. Here's a 4-string B power chord. Okay, and I'm just doing the same thing, but I'm just sliding it up. Okay, and once again, you just go right on up the neck. And so let's look at the G. Now this is a really fun one that I actually stole this from the country and western guys, because I noticed the country and western guys sometimes they'll hold down strings 1 and 2. I'm using my pinky. I guess you could use your 3rd as well. I just use my pinky probably because I just don't think about it. But once again, you could use this if you wanted to as well, so you could use your 3rd finger. But anyway, so let's look at that. You're holding down strings 1 and 2 there with your pinky or whatever finger you choose to use. And so 1 and 2 is at the 3rd fret. And what I'm doing is my 3rd finger is laid down so the 5th string is muted. So you can't hear it. So when I go like this, even though there's 5 strings, it's still a power chord because it's root here, 5th, root, 5th, root. Really cool chord. I love this one, okay? And and then the other one, which is a cool power chord, is D. And I don't know if I talked about this one yet, but we'll go ahead and look at it now. So D, once again, it's a bit of an inversion because the lowest note is an A. So you got A, D, A, D. It sounds like this. Really cool chord. I heard this particular chord on a Rage Against the Machine song. It starts off something like that, and then they go do, 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 do. Anyway. So, okay, so there you go. Some really cool power chords. One other one I want to look at is this particular power chord here. A really cool one, and it's an E. And what I'm doing is I'm holding my first finger on string 5, fret 7, and then my 3rd and pinky finger are on fret 9, strings 3 and 4. And so you got root, root, 5th tone, root, 5th tone, root. So you kind of get that kind of sound. Now you could run this as a drone chord too. There's your D, but now it's technically not a 5 chord because this would be like a, I don't know, D2 added 6 maybe, something like that. And then here's a C chord. There's a B, but you use it as a drone. So okay, so something really cool you could do there. Okay, I think I covered basically all. Now here's a cool little songwriting idea I'm going to throw in here as if you use your A, now all power chords, this is kind of a cool thing. This is, other people have used this as well. So I got the open A, 5th string. I got my first finger there at the 7th fret on string 4. I got my 3rd finger on fret 9 on string 3, and then fret 10, my pinky. So it sounds like this. So I got root, root, 5th, root. And then I'm going to play that G power chord. Once again, I'm not sounding out. String 5 is blocked, giving it that power chord sound. And then that D chord I showed you. And that's A, D, A, D. So 5th tone, root, 5th tone, root. So you can do something like there you go. Power chords explained. And of course, remember the difference between a power chord and a bar chord? So you know, there it is. One of the most frequently asked questions I get. Power chords, what are they? And there it is. Have a great day. Subscribe. Practice till your fingers hurt. And then practice some more.